Hey there everyone, and welcome to another debriefing. This one brought to us by Grumpfnik. I'm probably gonna butcher that name, but you know what? That is what it is. I'm not good with usernames, and that's just what happens. So we're looking at a 4502P. Actually, it's one of the stronger tanks in the front arc, having what, over 250 armor on the turret itself, and then another 170 sloped armor on the hull. So it is not an easy tank to penetrate in the front, but if you get to the side, it's not nearly as bad. But again, this is one of the better, like, pushing and strong frontline tanks, if you want to call it that. And as you can see here, it's pretty hefty arty fest here. 4 on his team and another 3 on the other, and they're playing in inks here, and it looks fairly evenly matched. You got a super heavy and a super TD against 2 mediums on either side, and then yeah, from there it just kind of breaks down, and it looks like I said, fairly even. They have a lot more scouts on the enemy team than they do on the team of our contributor here, and needless to say, they brought a lower tier artillery, whereas the other team has higher tiers. So we will go ahead and jump and see what happens here in this one. Now, they are playing on the, what is this, encounter, and it's, again, any encounter is basically won or lost by sending a small contingent to contain the flag while everyone else pushes, just more or less, not necessarily push, but, you know, fights it out in the closer areas, be it the hill on Campanova, or over here in the plains area of Inks, so on and so forth. And so it's one of those things where, wow, my frame rate's just chopping here. There we go, a little bit better. Now this tank is one heck of an offensive weapon. It does such a great damage. It's 490 average damage with a 250 average pin, but in addition to that, as I said, it has great defensive abilities in its armor, and it really is a very strong, super strong tank that needs to be in the front lines of every game. I haven't played as one per se, but I certainly know playing against them, if I see him at the front, I'm either aiming at that lower glacis plate or I'm just avoiding it entirely because I don't want to mess with it until I can get to its side where it's much easier to deal with. Now, he had this E50 run right past him, but with that Yagi 100 right there, there's not too much that E50 can do. And he snuck in a great shot, too. Thing just went right over the hole of his teammate. I must say, that was a pretty good shot to be able to sneak it in over the top of that Yagi 100. Now, as to what he's doing, this is exactly what I do in Inks, at least for this, in general. Be it standard battle or encounter, is I come into these little ruins here, or what do you want to call them, I guess city blocks, and I kind of watch the other city block to see if anything comes through it, give it a few minutes, and then I move out. Ooh, it looks like they have something, yeah, back here that just spotted all their artillery. So they're going to start losing artillery something fierce. They've already lost a G-Dub Tiger, which is not a good thing at all, and an S-51, which is another powerful tank that you don't want to lose. Ooh, they're playing on an EU server or RU server, one of the two, because that definitely is not English. So, looks like I saw the Jagdpanther 2 hiding over there somewhere out of his line of sight, and then there's probably that Jagdtiger, it looks like, in the map on E3, but in all aspects, he's doing kind of what he's the right thing at the moment, sitting here holding a flank, waiting to see what happens with the main majority of his force. While he's lost the majority of his, well, most of his artillery, you can see that they've also killed off their top tier medium and almost all their scouts and the E50. So needless to say, they're actually still doing pretty good. They're in the green in terms of, or in the black rather, in terms of their offset in terms of players right now. And so right now they're not really hurting. While they do have some stuff flanking here and there, just like little mediums getting in between them, the closest medium that could be would be the Lorraine, and with all those things back there, especially the Jag 100, I think it's just going to nail that Lorraine and pretty much kill it. Needless to say, they do also, they have a medium that's heading back to it, so he shouldn't have to worry about that too much. it's about this point, and yeah, there you go. With the Yagi 100, they just killed the Lorraine dead. So this KV-4 should be no match to him. And then there's whatever on the cap. Probably, if I was a betting man, I'd say it's the E75s and not the E100. But I could be wrong. So, yeah, he's doing the right thing here by engaging the KV-4 on its own first, dealing with him. I actually would... Okay, so he's going to do like a back out method and try and... Well, I don't know if I'd do that. He is doing a back out method, so he's only exposing like his turret and just a little bit of his tank, and also doing it kind of at a sloped angle. But with only 100 armor on those sides, a KV with about 200 something pin, even with an angle, you're getting maybe 200 armor. So hey, he managed to bounce one. Good for him. And I mean, he's going right through the bottom plates of that KV-4, so he's doing it right, I guess. I guess I'm wrong. And here, I would have went out headlong, hoping that he shoots into the front armor, which is going to be about 300 with that slope. But instead, he's really doing a great tactic. I didn't even know that was an option. He has it at such a, I don't want to say perfect angle, but correct angle that he's only backing out, exposing just a little bit. Was he exposing, or was he getting hit in his turret? No, it looks like he was only taking shots in the side of the hole there. So I'm impressed. That worked really well. I didn't think it would. So there you go. That's a great little tactic to use on this 4502P, is you kind of edge out with your back so that only your turret's getting exposed, but you do it at such an angle that you still have decent armor. And wow, that gun hits for a ton. That was a great move. I did not realize you could do that. And so, without knowing what else is available, they're now in the red here. GW just nailed both of these tanks effectively. Well, the IS-8 doesn't have the upgraded gun, so he's kind of a wash anyway. But their Jagdpanzer E100 is doing quite well. He's moving to actually go and act as an intercept, which is probably a good idea. He still has the vast majority of health. That 62 should probably go hunt down their artillery, which it looks like he might be doing. And if he could find their E100 or their E75, he'll be better off. And of course, there is their E100 still full up. So he's going to have one heck of a fight ahead of him in order to take down these two tanks without any artillery support and almost by himself. But ooh, that just leveled the playing field with that Yag E100 just completely batting away the E100. Wow, okay, so he's in a much better position now. The artillery's making a move. The E100 killed the IS-8, which was expected. He didn't have that much hit points left. This Yag Tiger, if he can get killed off, then I don't know. I wouldn't have left that Yag E100 sitting there alone. If those two were coordinated, the E100 could be trying to distract the Yag E100 while the E75 runs around him. But again, just sneaking in that shot right there, he just completely made it so that the Yag E100 can kill both those tanks in one shot. And of course, the Yag E100 shouldn't have too much problem penetrating if he aims properly. So long as he doesn't just quick fire, he should be able to take care of either of them. And I mean, so can this, the 4502P. And he's doing the same thing again, where he's only using just a very little edge of his back end to stick out just enough so he can see with his turret, and presenting it at an angle where hopefully they won't penetrate. Again, I thought that wouldn't work. He bounced off him, but he's also protecting himself in this manner where he's at. His E100's hurting though, something fierce. If he could sneak in, no, he wasn't able to sneak in that shot. But the Yag E100 survived the E100 shot, and he just needs to finish off this. Nope. Thought he would. Instead, the E75 was able to kill off the Yag E100. Now, he has the hit points to deal with both of these tanks. The question is, will the 62 be able to get around to help him in time? Now, he, of course, only has that back half exposed, which he does take a hit. And that is the dangerous thing, is the front might be able to absorb it just like that. Of course, that was a bad angle that E75 shot at. He should have known better. And he has a great shot at the commander's hatch up there. He's able to hit it. He takes another hit. He's down to one shottable. Let's see if the E75 is able to bounce. And he does. Luckily, he was able to get that bounce. If he finishes off that E75, all that's left is that E100. Now, that E100 should, in theory, be able to take him out. Now, as to why he isn't, you know, firing, ooh, what a lucky bounce. He didn't aim properly at all. He might have hit just either the lip of it or the shot might have went wide. And I believe the 4502 has the quicker reload. If he aims properly, gets the correct hit, he'll be fine. And no, he takes a no damage crit and he takes a bounce. So again, he gets a little lucky there with his jostling back and forth, which probably wasn't a bad idea there that he tracked him, but I would have gone for the kill shot instead. And there he goes. He's able to finish him off finally. 3 kills isn't bad. I was not aware of that nice little duck behind move with your the back end of that tank. I would have thought that would be suicidal, but he somehow did it, and it made it work because he bounced the what though I can't even remember the name of the tank, the VK40, the VK4, which I thought that he would have easily been penetrated several times by doing that. So he got rather. He either has a really good skill with that tank, or that's a really interesting idea I never knew of. And so, there we go. Good game. Let me go ahead and look at his screen caps that he sent me, and we'll finish it off there. Alright, so looking at the battle stats here, we can clearly see he got Sniper. Oh man, this is all in German. I think, at least. Man, yeah, German. Yes. Anyway, he definitely got Sniper. Great job there. I don't think he missed, did he? I'm pretty sure he hit with almost every shot. And then 62,000 credits, not bad at all, and 1,700, well no, 1,800 experience. I don't know if that was on a double, or if that was just a single. Definitely a great performance there. What was that? 1, 2, 3, 6 tanks he hit, 3 destroying, critically 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, so not bad at all. And of course, the few things that kind of tried to skirt by him, he definitely hit him with a baseball bat and showed them what's up so that they didn't get by without taking a little bit of damage. We'll go ahead now and look at the team score here. And clearly, head and shoulders above everybody else, but barely above the great wiffle pad dealing, the great crazy Panzer E100 over here. With his amount of damage and kills, he was getting 4 of them. But with 1,200 experienced, without premium, definitely was sitting on top and getting Sniper in whatever that says in German. Miser shoots, I guess? Maybe? Yeah, I definitely need to take German. But anyway, you can see the other team, that E75, did come pretty close to, you know, changing the game up. If he had placed his shot a little better when he was coming around that bend, he might have been able to finish off our buddy here. But I think that the T-62A would have probably proved to be too much for the other 2 tanks remaining. So good job on his part, and good job on his team too. Not a single underperformer. They all did fairly well, I'll say. And so from there we go on to the detailed report, and it looks like that, yes and no, yeah, he missed. No, he took, from what I'm seeing here and having to remember how it looks, he took 16 shots, hit 16 shots, and 14 of them were damaging, penetrating shots. And look at that. Over 4,500 damage. That is incredible. What a great job that he did there. And again, with taking, you know, however many shots he had, I can't read in German. I'm going to have to take a guess that he took 7 shots, 3 of them damaging. It looks as though he really had a good idea there with that whole using the back end of the 4502 to just back up enough so that the turret's exposed, and that way you can fire at them and they're only dealing damage to the back end of it, which at a correct slope is going to absorb or bounce the round, which I honestly didn't think was possible. I seriously thought that it would take the hit and it would go right through the armor. So I was impressed, and it worked with, what was that, 2 tanks that are, yeah, kind of 2 tanks that it worked with, and then he was doing the whole wiggle thing in the face-off against the E100 and the E75, which worked out pretty well that they were able to bounce that many times off of him, when in all honesty, that E100 probably should have killed him, same with that E75, so he got really lucky, and again, I'm impressed with that whole little backup action. That it really is one of the only options if you're trying to shoot around corners with tanks just like that, or with a similar sort of tank like the top tier British, I believe, has a rear turret like that. And so it prevents if you do it normally like you would do with a standard tank, you'd have to stick your nose all the way out and around, and you'd have exposed your entire hull in that time before your turret can actually, or before your gun can fire, because otherwise you'd be sitting there with your nose sticking out and not able to see your target until you go all the way out. And at that point, you're fully engaging your target. You do not back up. You just go head to head and you face hug him. And so I don't know which would be better for this. I'm assuming what he did actually worked pretty well. So lo and behold, I guess that's the way to do it. And here I thought the complete opposite. So I learned something, that's for sure. And in terms of any other tanks that works on, definitely something you notice a lot of people do it in tier 1s is the T1 Cunningham, because that is a rear turret, and probably the same with the LOL tractor, is they tend to want to back it up so that you're exposing less of your body to incoming fire, and especially the T1 in the LOL tractor, because it doesn't have the armor in the front, such as this 4502P, where it actually can absorb in the front if you do go face off. So there we go. I learned something. I hope you all enjoyed this, and I guess I will catch you guys in the next debriefing. Thanks, guys.